Today is September the 18th, 2020. This is the Service Hero Show, 365 days of awesome. Celebrate success through service. My name is Tamara Hunter. I am your host, and this is the show that tells the inspiring stories of those that are inspiring others. So let's do this. Today is a very special show for me, and I know you are all going to agree. We have a dear friend of mine and someone that I have, wink, wink, been inviting onto the show, and she's here. It is today that is the destined day, the day that was designed to be the day, the present, the gift for Stephanie to be with us. And let me share with you why it's such a big deal for us and for myself. This is a woman that I met. I met Stephanie because of an organization that we both were involved in, and there was a connection made. Little did I know, she didn't tell me in the very beginning how much of a connection. And we're going to be discovering that as we talk this hour. This woman inspires me, truly inspires me, and not only myself, but many, many others. And you will all find out exactly why that is by the time we are done visiting today. So I want to say, welcome, Stephanie DeWayne. I am so very pleased to be with you today and share that you are our service hero.
Thank you so much, Tamara. It is so good to be here. And may I say, you are also inspiring because you put yourself out there 365 days a year and you're here to help people. So I want to say thank you to you because you deserve some massive kudos here.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Coming from you, that really means a lot to me, and I appreciate that. And I want to recognize those that are here right now. We have many of our buddies showing up. In fact, we have our first ambassador of the chat, Helene Wilson. She is welcoming all the buddies that will be coming and all of those that are out there in public that are watching the show. Helene is also one of my own personal buddies. So thank you for being Helene, being with us. We have Cinnamon. I love it. One of our family members within our community. And, it's always wonderful when everybody is showing up and visiting with each other because we chat, guys. We chat. And here in a few moments, everybody's going to understand why it is that Stephanie really gets this. Well, truly, we have one of our senior ambassadors and also one of the producers now of this show, Carol Berzins out of Canada. Thank you very much. She always is making sure that we are live on the E360 TV platform. Very exciting to be a part of their programming and their family of shows. And sound is good. Thank you. She always is letting me know there's always ways of being able to share. We have one of our senior ambassadors, Sherry McQueen. Thank you for being here, Sherry. I really am thrilled that you are here. Cannot be here for the whole show. That's okay. We're glad that you're here for the beginning of it. And let me just say, we do have some humor that we share all the time. There's always something about a purple pen or something else that is purple that comes from Helene. There is one other person that I'm going to be sharing. Before we start talking, this is going to be a little different than I normally do because there's someone that has a message for you. We're going to have this video shared, this little clip, and then you and I are going to start talking.
Hey there, I'm Dr. Sonia Jackson, and I am so excited. Today we get to celebrate my dear friend, Stephanie DeWayne. And Stephanie, oh my goodness, she has dedicated her life to easing pain and suffering. That is amazing. So we're celebrating her success through her service. She is training her dog to become part of her practice. I know that she has such a heart. When I first met her, I thought, oh, you know how when you meet those people and you think, oh my God, I love you. I want to get to know you better. She is that person. And I can't wait till we get to celebrate her and see what Tamara pulls out of her web of genius. So enjoy the show today.
That's awesome.
I love her energy, don't you?
Sony is amazing. She's, I have a place in my heart for her.
I
thank you. That's awesome.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. And we thought that would be a lot of fun, and because it is because of Sony, truly, that I know you. And so we were talking about how in a roundabout way, it's like she nominated you. And so we thought, well, we'll surprise you. Something different and surprising. And let's see. So let's get into this. You, as Sony was saying, and as I've kind of referenced about the pain and suffering and about your dog, and there's so much more. However, let's start with the journey a little further back. In that, when I was introducing you to all of our buddies, and when I first met you, and I said that there was more that we had in common than I would have ever imagined. And that is that you also can say that you're a conqueror, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I am an 18-year conqueror.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you were diagnosed with what?
I was diagnosed with breast cancer when I was 38 years old. And I had a 4-year-old and a 6-year-old and an amazing husband that was so supportive. But even going back farther, my mom was diagnosed when she was 32 years old. And she fought it for 10 years. It was a good fight. But she ended up not making it. And I was 12 when she was diagnosed. And I was 22 when she passed away. But she had the most amazing spirit. And she, way back then, this is way back when in the 70s. And they didn't have what they had when I went through it or right now. And she just persevered and went through what she had to do. It wasn't easy, but she was fighting for her life. She wanted to raise her kids. And come to find out, when I was diagnosed, I got tested for the gene, did not have it.
Really?
And I was so thankful because I had 2 little babies at home. And I didn't want them to have to go through what I was going through. So that was a good thing. That was a good thing. And when I went through it, you want me to keep going and share?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So when I was diagnosed, I had been getting mammograms for several years because of my family history. And I was a dental hygienist at the time. I know how to read x-rays. So when they put that x-ray up on the wall and put me in a separate room after my mammogram, I looked at it and I went, oh, shit. Can I say that? Sorry.
It is a family show. And
okay.
I
sorry.
It's okay. Like, do a bit of a quarter thing, but we're good. And I'm going to share some pictures while you're talking because go ahead. So there's your amazing husband. Yeah. And I want to bring up this next one. Okay. So so here's some pictures of your husband and yourself.
Yep.
And then I want to bring up some more because I've got images of your amazing family.
Yep.
And was this about the age that the girls were when you were diagnosed, or maybe just a little younger?
Sydney, she looks like she's 4 there, and she was 6. So
okay.
Yeah, they were 6 and 4. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I wanted to share these right now as you were, kind of taking us through it, and so that people have an idea of what we're talking about. Okay, so
I knew, I saw that image, and I'm like, wow. And the first thing I thought of, which was wrong, but the first thing I thought of was, wow, I kind of created this because I always said to myself, I'm not going to get breast cancer like my mom. I'm not going to get breast cancer like my mom. And that's what I focused on. Well, you know, when you focus on stuff you don't want, you know, so I knew I had to change my thinking. I knew I had to change it to, okay, I'm going to fight this thing. I'm going to beat it, and we're going to get through this. Mm-hmm. And I took on that warrior fighter mentality. I really did. Mm-hmm. And so my husband went to my appointments with me when we were planning and everything. And I said to my surgeon, because I went into my surgeon and I interviewed my doctors. And this is what's really important. And this was, 18 years ago. They didn't have teams of doctors that all worked together.
Right.
So I interviewed my surgeon, I interviewed my plastic surgeon, and I interviewed my oncologist, and I interviewed my radiologist. And I went to each one of them and I said, look, tell me about my cancer. Tell me about everything about it, and tell me how you would treat it. And I treated it like an interview. I'm hiring them. I'm paying them a lot of money.
Right.
So I have some say in this, within reason, but I have some say in this. And one of the biggest things that I reached out to a friend of mine whose mom had cancer, and she was 5 years out, and my mom wasn't around, so I couldn't talk to her. But I said, what do you suggest? And she said, Stephanie, you are your best advocate. And if you don't advocate for yourself, you are in the middle of a lake in a canoe with no paddles. So you advocate for yourself. And that's what I did. I took her advice, and that's what I did. And when I went through and interviewed everybody, my surgeon said, we need to get you in. We need to remove the lump. And, he had a plan. And I said, okay. I said, how big is this tumor, and how long till it gets bigger? And he kind of looked at me and said, what do you mean? And I said, how much time do I have before this tumor grows and gets bigger? And he's like, he paused for a minute, and he's like, well, you have 90 days. And I said, great, I'll be back in 90 days. And he goes, what do you mean? I said, look, this is a battle, and I can't do this until my head is right. And I need some time to wrap my head around this, to take care of myself, and to really get my immune system and my body in the best possible shape to fight this. And I didn't mean like shape as in muscles. I meant proper nutrition, proper mindset. I mean, I needed to have the mindset to fight this. And so I did not see him for 90 days. And I showed up 90 days later. And in between that time, I started taking care of my health and started really taking care and taking charge of my mind. And I sought help. And I did different treatments for this up here. And it really made a difference. Everybody thought I was crazy. This was 18 years ago. Even my husband's like, and I considered treating this holistically. He wouldn't let me. He's like, look, we have children to raise, and I need you here. He said, Steph, it scares me. And I said, okay, what if I found an oncologist that would let me do what I want to do, but I would also do what it needs to be done? Right. And so I interviewed that oncologist, and he said, absolutely, Stephanie. And so he goes, tell me all the stuff you want to do, and I'll have my nurses look it all up, and we'll make sure. I said, great. So I handed him a bucket full of stuff, and they went through every single thing, and it took him a week. And he's like, go for it all. I don't care. Do it all. So I found the right doctor for me.
Right. And for those that hear me talk about the nonprofit that I have started and a co-founder of, president of currently, that we talk about the fact that we support those people with whatever treatment plan they decide to go with. And I talk about traditional, alternative, and adjunctive. And a lot of times they don't understand what adjunctive is. You just explained adjunctive because of the fact that you were able to find a traditional doctor that then you went and worked on the mindset, and then you were open-minded to having different disciplines or whatever it is that was on that bucket, that huge bucket that you brought in that took a week for them to research, and they said, go for it all. So what was it all?
I juiced for 90 days. No solids.
Wow.
I juiced.
Okay.
I got all the nutrients I needed, and I juiced. I was up to 5 cloves of garlic a day. It was coming out my pores. It was, but I didn't care. I'd go for walks with my girlfriends and neighbors, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, Stephanie, you stink." And I'm like, I don't care. Right. I don't care. I'm fighting here. I did holistic, like greens and stuff like that, stuff that everybody does now, but back then it was unheard of. Superfoods, lots of superfoods. I took a lot of tinctures, echinacea, detox stuff, that kind of thing. So I was doing a lot of holistic stuff.
Right.
And and then I also, I did EMDR. I did some releasing of negative emotions. So I worked on my mind a lot.
And what does EMDR mean for those that don't know?
It's
or just explain it.
It's a technique where you're looking at a light board and you have these little pods in your hands and they're vibrating. And as you're looking at the light board and these pods, things just start to come up. Memories, things, traumas, whatever. And it's not bad because you're not associating into it, but you're releasing it. Let me just tell you just a really quick one. One of them that came up that just made me start crying was I was 5 years old, and my uncle he was traveling, and we saw him a lot. And my sister's 2 years older, and he brought her home a stocking hat. Those big long ones, the ball in the end.
Right.
He brought her home one of those. And I'm 4 or 5, and I'm like, well, Uncle Skip, where's mine? And he goes, oh, honey, I couldn't find that one that would fit you. And it devastated me.
Oh.
It's devastated me. And so that came up, and I was holding on to that little thing that gave me such trauma at 4 years old. And I was holding on to that, and that came up. And I said to the counselor, I said, this is ridiculous. She goes, no, I mean, look at your bawling. You're releasing all this. So the simple little things that we don't know really cause us negative thoughts and stuffing those thoughts down, because it's all energy. We're all energy. The world's rotating, right? The Earth's rotating. You think of quartz watch. What is it? It's quartz. It's the vibration. You think of the first microphone, which we all use nowadays. It was the quartz vibrating and amplifying. So it's all energy. And so I stuffed that down when I was 4 years old. That came up. And I knew I had to really heal myself in a mental way so that I could fight physically.
Right.
Because the mind is so powerful. We all have these amazing, powerful minds that can heal.
Yes. And so, all right. So I'm gonna finish up here. I'm gonna bring this up, and I want to bring up now. Here's your girls. I know that's not completely up to date. However, your girls yes. Okay. So, how old are they now?
So now they're 25 and 23.
25 and 23.
Yeah.
And the good news is they were so young, so many years ago. You now have raised them that they are now, they both have gone through and gotten their careers, gone to college or certifications, and they're out there. One's married now, right?
Yep, married and I hope soon to have a baby, but that's every parent's dream, right? She's probably going to kill me for saying that, but she's finishing up her master's. She's a teacher, first grade teacher. They bought their first house, and they're in Colorado, where they grew up. And then the other one, she's a hairstylist here in Florida, and she's just niched out a little nice market for herself, and they're both doing great. Awesome. And I got to see them flourish and grow and just be amazing women.
And that is the good news story here. There's so many good news stories, and we're going to get even deeper into it. And then I want to get over here because now you got your new baby, right? This is Louie.
Yep, that's Louie.
Louie is now not quite 2 years old, right?
Yep.
And he's going to be a big part of what you're doing.
Yes.
Yeah. I absolutely love it. And so I want to talk about the fact that, so you survived. And then when you and I were visiting, you then let me know, okay, you're a survivor, and same cancer that I had, breast cancer. We went there. However, you kind of withheld a little bit for a little while. And then you let me know, oh yeah, I started a nonprofit too.
Yeah.
And you started one that was more local based, but very similar in many ways to what we have going on now. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Okay, so it was called Breast Friends, and it was with 2 other women that went through cancer. One did it, just a few months before me, and one was, I had finished my chemo and she had just found out. And they both grew up in this town that we lived in Windsor. And we decided that women need more support, and they also need to know what's out there for them. Because what I was seeing was they were getting diagnosed, and the next week they're in for surgery. They didn't have time to even process it, or they didn't know that they had other options, or that, they could put a team together to work together. And so what I had done was I talked to my surgeon, I talked to my plastic surgeon, and I talked to my oncologist. And I said, what's the plan here? And then I said to my surgeon, look, and this was just me. Everybody has a different experience. I said, look, I'm not waking up without a breast. So what are we going to do here? Because I had a mastectomy and reconstruction. And he's like, well, normally what we do is we remove the breast, we wait for it to heal, and then you go to the plastic surgeon. I said, no, that's not going to work for me. And I said, you 2 are going to get together and you're going to create a plan. And I want you to work together in the ER, create the plan, and take care of it that way. And he goes, we don't do that. Because this was 18 years ago. And I said, you do now.
You've met me. Let's do this.
Said, here's my plastic surgeon. Please, can you guys communicate? So they did. They were like, well, okay, well, let's try this.
Right.
And so then we were both in there, and which was really nice, because here's my experience. Now, this isn't everybody's experience, so let me just preference that. But what I found was all these specialists, they're doing their specialty, but they're not thinking about the next doctor that has to come along and take care of this patient. They're just figuring out what they do best. And so they're not communicating. And sometimes what happens is things come up that maybe the surgeon does that doesn't really think about, oh, this is going to be harder on the plastic surgeon. I'm not saying this is always. No. But, okay, so I thought, why not them work together? So they did. And it was the first time they'd ever done that. And really, it just wasn't happening back then. Now they have centers and teams and everything. Yeah.
And I went to one of those. Centers, and they would pull up each patient before they even started any kind of care. They would put all of the results up on a screen. They had all of the specialties involved at that, what they called tumor meeting. And then they would go through a specific plan with the pathology report that was individual to each and every one of the patients. And then they educated us. We were very, very involved with each and every stage of the game. And they were the ones that actually convinced me in the end to start the nonprofit, because of things that they saw there was still a need for. So, in essence, possibly, who knows, how things work, but what you started way back in the day may have in many ways started what we are now doing on an international level, because you were willing to say, wait a minute, we need to communicate. We need to be working together. That's absolutely revolutionary for that period of time. And now, truthfully, still not everywhere. Still not everywhere.
Yeah.
And that's why we need to be sharing this and letting people know that they can do this. Well, maybe they've never done it before, but they had never done it before until you came around.
That I knew of.
Right.
You know? And so, so when Debbie, who was the person after me, when she got cancer, I was talking to her, and it was before all her surgeries. And she's like, I was just diagnosed, I'm gonna have surgery next week. And I go, oh, okay. And so I didn't know her very well, so I couldn't really talk to her about it. And she was ready, set, and ready to go, you know, mentally, everything. So when she went through hers and started feeling better, Tracy and I, who are the ones that started it and then brought her in, we said, this is what we want to do with this group, is we want to educate the women, and then we want to just be there for support. Mm-hmm. And so we ran a support group, and we met once a month at a local church. They hosted it for us, and we met, and we made it a safe place. Absolutely no sales. Absolutely no, because everybody was calling me and saying, hey, I've got this new product. I'm like, nope, you know, no, this is all about support. And so then what we did was when we shared our experiences, and we had women coming in, you know, maybe one of them had neuropathy after she had chemo. And so she went out and researched what she needs to do. And what happened was she found out that light therapy really helped her. So we brought the specialist in to talk to us about it. And so we educated women on all the different things that they could do for all the symptoms and treatments and everything. And from there, like, we did bring an acupuncturist in, because for me going through chemo, I was so sick. I threw up 24 hours a day. I even had to be in the hospital because they couldn't stop me from throwing up. The minute I started acupuncture, and you know who told me? Someone else in a different support group. And it just took care of it. And I thought, we need to know about all this stuff, to get through this, because, you know, this is challenging. And so that's why we started the support group, and we started raising money, and it turned out to where we were supporting women that were going through it. I had so much support. My husband was a principal, and every single teacher in that school brought us dinner for 3 months. We had 5 dinners delivered for 3 months.
Wonderful.
And it was never an issue. We just knew dinner was showing up at 5 o'clock. And it was such an amazing help for me. And I had neighbors. I mean, one of my neighbors came in during the day when I was going through chemo. I'm at home. My head's on the pillow. I can't lift it. She'd come in and just sweep my floor, do my dishes, and throw a load of laundry in, and then leave. Not say a word, just leave. And it meant so much to me. And I knew other people didn't have that support. So we wanted to create something with that support. And so that's what we did. And it's still going today. I've moved since then. Debbie's running it. It's called something different, but it's still going. And, you know, women loved it. The community loved it. They supported us with their dollars so that we could feed these women, so that we could have our support group and help in any way we could.
I love it. And so that was one of the things that when we started talking, and I was sharing about what I'm doing, and then you asked me a few questions, and then when I'll never forget this, because you were asking me a question, I'm thinking, okay, what is she really? And I said, well, yes, we're doing a closed group, and it's a safe environment. No sales allowed. We are educating. We have specialists come in. They can share what they're feeling, and nothing. It's like Vegas. What takes place there stays there. And that is when you finally said, okay, I have something to share with you. And you told me about this because of the fact that it is really easy for you to possibly say, okay, yeah, I'll let this happen or that happen. And so it might benefit the community, yet it then puts them at risk. It is an unfair playing field. And we monitor that very, very closely. You have to. And I want to say that some of the monitors are here right now. And I want to say publicly, thank you. And you know who you are because we don't say who they are. However, we watch it. And because we do need to have that safe environment
Yes.
where you can share what is going on, and you know that you can share your heart and it will be protected. And there is so much health healing. There's healing in that connection. That's why we say healing through connection. And so thank you for sharing that. Now I want to go back. I'm going to do this here, guys, and I'm going to stop screen, and then I'm going to look for some pictures, and hopefully I can find them here. That let's see. Well, okay, we're going to tell the story without them right now, and that is you went from the nonprofit, and then you had background where you were in dentistry, and then you were realizing that there were a lot of people that were having a lot of pain, and yet they may not do well. You know, there had to be a way to be able to help them, right? And you and the fact that you just really want to help people that are dealing with pain, you started going to school or going and getting education, and you got very serious about it. And now you are trained in a lot of different modalities, right?
Yeah.
And you are taking it out there. You are now, well, let's just tell everybody what it is that you are doing nowadays.
So I am a certified clinical hypnotist.
Right.
And I was a dental hygienist for 25 years. I was able to retire, but I wanted to still serve people. I knew there was a need out there to serve people. And so I looked around, and I just, hypnosis just really felt like the right path. I mean, I just knew it. It was like a light bulb went off. And so when I decided to become a hypnotist, I wanted to make sure that I was doing it properly, and I want to be trained by the best. So it took me a year and a half. I did over 1,200 hours. I did a 300-hour internship. And since then, that was 6 years ago, about every year I do anywhere from 100 to 500 hours of training in different modalities. So I just keep adding, because there's always something to learn. There's always something to learn. And I can help more people if I just learn more. So yeah. So I opened up a practice. I have a brick and mortar, but I also do it via Zoom. I've been doing it via Zoom for 5 years. I have clients all over the country. And I do work with pain management. I do work with anxiety and stress. I work with forgiveness work. And really, here's the thing. Really loving yourself is so important. And taking care of yourself. And as women, and I'm not saying everybody, but as women, our families and our significant others and our friends and everything always comes first. And we need to just kind of take a breath and start taking care of ourselves. And so just teaching that, and teaching the self-love, and teaching the forgiveness work,
And that's huge. That's huge. Really Not always easy to do, right?
Well, in hypnosis, it's very quick, very quick. And when you're ready, it just happens at the speed of thought or the speed of choice.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So basically what you're saying here is that if you choose, when you're ready, your mind is ready. It really is ready. And it's kind of that gut level feeling. Is that how it is? Or what would someone be feeling? What would someone, like if I was ready, what would I be feeling? You would be,
for me, my clients, they seek out help. They call me and say, hey, I want to work on this.
Okay.
They made the choice.
Okay.
Right? They made the phone call. They chose, I want to work on this. So hypnosis isn't the only modality, but it works really quickly. But there's all different kinds of modalities out there. And find the one that's right for you, because it's going to change your life.
And I want to go back. The one that was really long here that was covering us up, and you were talking, and I didn't want to cover us up, but I want to go into this. I'm going to bring it up for a moment. Sherry is saying, you are an amazing self-advocate. So proud of you, because a lot of people do not do it enough. And the nonprofit is also amazing. You are giving women that didn't have the information they needed. I appreciate you and what you are doing and what you helped to create, and so now, okay, so you've handed that off to someone, others that are capable. They've changed the name, but the resources and everything are still there. The education is still there.
Yeah.
And now you are finding ways to serve others. And you even, I have to say, you served others in Phoenix. And I was trying to pull up the pictures, but when we were in Phoenix, about a year ago, I think, probably right around, it's kind of time has just traveled so fast. And yeah, it was a while ago. And we were doing an exercise. We were at a particular place. We were doing an exercise, and the leaders of that exercise decided to change it kind of at the last minute. And they did a mathematical equation, and they were like, how many people are here? How much time do we have? Okay, we're going to do this. We're going to create this. And they created something that was an exercise for all of us to be able to participate in. It required, some, like, Helene is being really cute here. Tamara, Junior Geek, is learning once again. Okay, and it's a joke, and yet, it was a learning process that we were in the Phoenix area, and they came up with basically called like a 6-minute speech kind of situation, and you started taking that out, and it became what's now known as the 6-minute webinar. It evolved from there, and yet you really took that and started utilizing it, because you're also a speaker. You go out, you educate, you talk about what it is that you're doing with your practice and such things. Why don't we talk about that? Because I truly believe, I'm going to just go out here on the limb, and I haven't heard anything, and I may be corrected, but I believe in what I witnessed, that you were much of the inspiration of them diving deeper into creating what it is that they've now created, because you had so much success and you continued to work on it. I then, not long ago, attended a class of which you were part of you're teaching about the 6-minute speech, the 6-minute talk. So let's dive a little bit into that. I know that when we were working on it, you literally were, doing the writing and the work, and really nailing down each and every word and the emphasis of each and every word. Why do you believe that that's so important? Because there's a lot of people that are saying, well, I can do a 6-minute talk like this, and I don't need to be writing that down. I don't need to think about every single word. Why is that so important?
Words have power. Thoughts have power. And the words that we use, in my vocabulary, I'm never going to say I have a problem. I say I have a challenge, because challenges can be overcome. And in my hypnotic world, with hypnosis, words are very powerful, and the way you put them in a sentence, the way you say them, the emphasis, everything. And so the story that I was creating there in that 6-minute speech really truly was to educate people about how powerful their mind is, and how hypnosis can help them make the changes they want to make. And one of the things that was so important to me was to get my message across in a very clear. You got 6 minutes, so you have to do it very clearly, precisely, and make sure that people really understand what you're saying. So the emotion has to be attached to it, so they can hear what I'm saying and know that it's coming from my heart, and not just, I'll whip out a speech, Because when you connect with people from your heart, and that's what you do with your nonprofit, is you're connecting. And that's one of the things you keep saying is the connection. When you're putting out love, and that's the most powerful thing. And when you're connecting in a love space, oh my gosh, miracles can happen.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to make sure that I was connecting with my audience and that they were really hearing my heart. And so whenever we are working together, like you and I collaborating, or when your chemo buddies are working together, that connection is so important. It's not just show up, get through it, and be done with it. Listen to what you can. And it's connecting with them, because people, we're beings that need connection. And when we feel that love from other people, it's magical.
Yeah, it is. It is. And so you've taken that out. You've seen it success. I'll never forget what you came up with, because I mean, you came up with this imagery that you used a story about, and you painted the picture of this woman and how this woman,
she had anger issues.
Yeah.
She had rage. I mean, rage. And what I said in that is, she's this beautiful woman who's a home healthcare nurse. She's in her 60s, and she had rage problems, and it was ruining her life. Her kids wouldn't let her see her grandkids. She got arrested because she was so angry at a mom in the grocery store for not treating her child properly. She got arrested. That's how angry she got. And she got cut off in traffic, and she carried a baseball bat in her front seat of her car. She got out at the next light after she got out, took her baseball bat and started wailing on that red Mustang that she thought cut her off. I mean, wailing on it with a bat. Can you imagine that? So that was the speech that I talked about. And It is. And so working with her over a period of time, she released all that rage and anger, and she had it pent up since she was little. She was little and she gave me permission to share this, because when she was little, when she was in her mom's womb, her mom and dad had a fight because she was a girl. They didn't want a girl. They wanted a boy. She heard all that. It's energy. She felt that.
Right.
And then it went on from there. I mean, it was other events, but we had to work through that. And now she never thought she'd find a love because of her rage problems. She has a boyfriend. She's got new friends. She lost all her friends. She went on a cruise last year, and she's back seeing her grandkids and loving on them and just being the person that she was born to be, that she deserved to be, because she was willing to do the work and release all that, because she made a choice and a decision. That's how simple it is.
I love it. I love it. And one of the parts I love too that you didn't share is that, how tall are you?
Oh yeah. So I'm 5'8", and what I said was in the speech is that after talking with her on the phone, I was a little intimidated and kind of scared to meet her because of her rage problems. And then when I saw her, she's 5'2", and I thought, oh my gosh, I could take her if I need to, So yeah.
And I'm having you share all of this right now because words matter. What you are doing now and helping people to ease pain and suffering, your words, your way of looking at and understanding, because you've done the work, you've done the education, and I respect the fact that you put so much time and energy and studying to understand, and then you didn't even stop there. You have you're not a hypnotherapist, you're a hypnotist.
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
a hypnotist.
In the state of Florida, you can't use the word hypnotherapist unless you're a doctor.
Okay. So
it's just semantics.
It's just semantics.
Yeah.
Okay. However, you have the hours, the ongoing education. You're also certified in NLP, you're certified in a lot of the modalities. And so then what you have been doing is, like you said, you layer them. however it is that you need to do to then be able to help those that are in your practice. I know that you really, you're working with your dog to be able to help with post-traumatic stress and some of these other areas to be a therapy dog. You also now have come across, from what I understand, that you can, on one visit, sometimes help some things that a lot of people are struggling with right now, right?
Yeah. So I just took a 4-day certification for quit smoking. And my whole goal in this is I want to save lives.
Yeah.
And, 80% of the people who smoke really want to quit, but they can't, or they don't know how.
Right.
And with this program, and there's a 95% success rate over the last 14 years, with this program, people are quitting smoking in one session. It's a 2-hour session, but it's one session. They show up a smoker. They leave a non-smoker. And it's it's absolutely amazing. And it's just one more thing for me to serve the community, because, a lot of these smokers, they don't want to smoke.
No, they don't. They don't.
They don't. They feel like they're addicted and there's no out.
Right. And I want to say personally, thank you for that, because I've never really shared this publicly. However, my grandfather, that was I talk about him, and then he had colon cancer. However, he was addicted, seriously addicted to cigarettes, and he had other associating health issues. And, to watch him have all of those, and I know how much he wanted to stop. And then my stepfather, who was so very dear to me, he was a smoker from the time he was in school until one of my kids said, "Grandpa, I don't want you to die." And that was enough to get him to stop, but he ended up with lung cancer, and that's what took him. And so I have seen too many people that I care about and love that have been addicted to cigarettes and have wanted to end that. And I know people now that I care about and love that are in that same place. And right now, with everything that's going on with COVID, there are so many people that are in addictive states or somewhere with the depression and the mindset issues, because of the uncertainties and so many other things. And you, with my dear Stephanie, have that heart to serve. You are all about saving lives. And so you have been educating. You continue to educate. I have witnessed it. You continue to go to school and educate because of that very thing. I want to personally say thank you for your dedication and serving. You are truly a service hero. I would like to hear from you. What is it that right now you feel that we can be doing to help ourselves to get through this period of time? Because there are so many that are struggling, that even possibly when this all started, were maybe teeter-tottering, but still doing okay. But with the period of time that's been gone on, there are many that are starting to truly struggle.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that are really feeling the stress and anxiety that's piling up from what's going on for the last 6 months.
Right.
And we keep thinking we're coming out of it, we're coming out of it, we're coming out of it. And then it feels like, you're going through the fires right now.
Yeah.
That's incredibly stressful.
Oh, yeah. We can't even go outside right now without being, we're being told stay indoors because the air quality is so bad. And then, the fires, there's so many things. Yes.
Yeah. So with that, we all need our minds to just settle down and clear our minds and just focus on your breath, focusing on your breath. And, it's such a simple exercise. By just taking 1 minute a day, twice a day, closing your eyes, breathing in and breathing out, focusing on your breath, and just letting all those thoughts that are popping up, because we all have them, like millions of thoughts, boom, 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 put them in a bubble, put them in a text bubble or a cartoon bubble, and let them just drift away. And just keep focusing on your breath. And every time a thought comes up, just let it drift away. And as it drifts away, as you begin to clear those thoughts, and it gives your mind, it gives your brain a break. And your brain needs a break. And so if you're doing that just once a day for 1 minute, or twice a day for 1 minute each, 1 minute, we all have 2 minutes, right? We all do.
Yeah.
So focusing on our breath and just breathing and taking a deep breath in and blowing out the stress and energy, and just letting those thoughts just drift away into nothingness. They'll be there when you open your eyes. They're coming back.
Oh, yeah.
But just giving your mind a break, what it does is it really creates a space for you to just relax. Because wouldn't it be nice if we all could have that 1 minute to just relax?
Yes.
And so breathing, and I have a free, you know what? I have a free meditation. It's 5 minutes long on breathing. I would love to share that with you.
Wonderful.
I'll get it for you. It's on a bit.ly. So I'll get the link, and you can just download it. Everybody use it, share it. I don't care. I want people to be able to really use this and just enjoy it.
Absolutely. We'll put it in the comments, and we'll put it everywhere out there. And so that everybody will be able to enjoy it. If you are watching this on the E360 platform, you say, where will I find it? We'll put it also onto the YouTube channel and onto the Facebook page and into the Instagram. You can find Service Hero Show all over the place. So we'll make sure that it's shared. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I want to end on something kind of fun. You did something fun yesterday that I think that this is a great idea that we, others need to kind of model this. You decided to have some fun and then also mastermind at the same time. And you were actually social distanced also too, because of the way you guys did it.
Yeah. So Sony, who did that lovely introduction, that surprise, she lives about an hour and a half away from me. And then I have another friend that lives another hour away from me the other direction. So we met in the middle and we went paddle boarding. And it was a beautiful morning. The wind kind of came up in the afternoon, but it was something we could do where, you're kind of by you're not around each other anyways, because the paddles will hit. And we just went paddle boarding in the intercoastal. And it was just a beautiful day. And we took the time, we blocked ourselves out. It was 3 weeks ago we decided to do this. So, I see clients on Thursdays, and I cleared my schedule and said, this is my day. And so we went and paddle boarding. And then right there, it was a beautiful, just an outdoor lunch place. It had a swimming pool right in the middle of the restaurant. It was all outdoors. And when we got there, they had a guitarist and a singer that was singing, just, it wasn't loud or anything. And we had lunch. And while we were waiting for our lunch to come, we hopped in the pool. It wasn't crowded because it was a Thursday afternoon. And we got out, ate, and we just stayed there for almost 3 more hours, just listening to music and masterminding. So when we were on our paddle boards, there's a sandbar right there. And we just paddled to the sandbar, and we got off our boards and just kind of floated. And we masterminded in our businesses, because we're all business owners. We're all entrepreneurs. And we just talked about, this is what have a challenge with. What do you think? What should I do here? What should I do there? We all had suggestions all through lunch. We were talking about it. And so we decided this is a great idea. So we're masterminding on paddleboards.
I love it. I love it.
And it's fun. We all have to have more fun.
Absolutely. And that can be translated into whatever area you're in. There's got to be something fun to do, incorporating more fun, being creative, because right now, more than ever, we need to be having fun. We need to be creative, and we can do this. And I just was like, oh yes, that is brilliant. Very fun. And I hope it's motivating others to say, I can be creative too, and I can do something like that. So what would you like to leave everybody with? We have like a minute left or so. What would you like to say to leave everybody with? Because you have so much wisdom inside of you, so much love. I'd love to hear what you'd like to say.
Yeah, so I guess I would really like to say that, you know, I'm 18 years out. And honestly, I don't think about it every day anymore. I used to. I used to think, oh my gosh, what if I get it again? And after about 2 years, I had to let that go. I had to let go of that fear.
Yeah.
So what I would say to the chemo buddies and anybody that's going through this is there's hope. Don't give up. And there's a lot of people out there who have gone years and years and years without a reoccurrence.
Mm-hmm.
And it can be done. It really can be done. And just keep fighting.
Yeah.
Keep having fun. It's so important. And the most important thing is to shine your light of love on others, because everybody has something to give someone. And love is the most powerful thing that you can give. It's so powerful, and we don't talk about it enough.
Well, you're going to have to join us on the Tour of Love. We're doing a 36-hour event that we're doing for Giving Tuesday this year is called the Tour of Love, because we agree with you. We declared 2020 to be the year of love, and then we went on to say we need it for a full decade. It is the decade of love. So, oh my goodness. Well, I want to say, as we close today, September the 18th, 2020, the Service Hero Show, 365 days of awesome. Celebrate success through service. That Stephanie DeWayne, you are truly a service hero. We have made that case today. We knew it from the start, at least I did. And then Sony, then she shared, she did too. Now everyone else does. They understand that you have the heart to serve, that you are out there to help, to ease the suffering of those that are dealing with pain, and you are inspiring others to do the same. I absolutely am so thrilled that we were able to share your inspiring story and how you are inspiring others. Stephanie, thank you for being you.
Oh, my pleasure. And thank you, Tamara, for having me and for everything you do.
Oh, my pleasure. Okay, everybody, it is Friday, so come back on Monday. We'll have another service hero to share. All right. Until then, see you guys later. Bye.